Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in! Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane studio downtown in the capital city on this Tuesday. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Appreciate you hanging out with us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Our Tuesday show is brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Glenn West talking Tigers in 30 minutes. Sharief Aishak 90 minutes from right now talking about the Saints. They added a running back today. We'll certainly talk about that. We'll hear from a little bit more from Kellen Moore coming up here in 15 minutes as well. March Madness underway tonight. I'm still a little bit reluctant to go with the first four thing. It's been here for a long time. They've been playing in Dayton for forever now at this point, but I still think Thursday's really the show. I guess that probably changes if and when LSU gets into one of these Dayton games, which is probably going to happen at some point. But it starts tonight, and we'll talk a little bit about it because there may be some LSU implications with one of the games tonight, so we'll dive into some of that. Plenty to do. Let's crank it up like we do every day with our Genesis, or not just our opening drive.
Welcome to the big league.
It's time for Hunt's Opening Drive, presented by Fabry Chevrolet GMC in St. Francisville.
Old habits die hard. Let's talk some baseball. I wrote a column just a little bit ago for the Wilts in Missouri in the SEC, so you're 14th in that category. And you were up there in Nashville and gave up 33 runs on 29 hits to Vanderbilt. Walked 25 guys. Like, the pitching is not nearly good enough. We mentioned Kason Evans yesterday. His ERA is 6.5. Cooper Moore, 2 of his last 3 starts have not been good enough. William Schmidt has been very good. He obviously dealt with a little bit of back discomfort on Sunday. Hopefully there's nothing more to that. But in the bullpen, Gavin Guidry's last 3 outings have been bumpy. Devin Sheeran has been up and down. The left-handers, Plog, Garcia, sometimes good, sometimes struggling to throw strikes. Zach Callen got off to a really bad start, had a good outing on Saturday night. Like, it's just, there hasn't been really anything consistent about LSU pitching to this point. And while the offensive shortcomings are concerning, like, offense is a fickle thing. You don't sustain a lot of success offensively individually. Nobody hits 650. You have your highs, you have your lows. You got to hope that through a 9-man lineup, you've got enough depth and enough guys going good at a certain point to consistently create runs. But pitching, more often than not, is more consistent than hitting. And it's something you can lean on more reliably than hitting. And LSU's pitching has been pretty damn good under Jay Johnson the last couple of years. And the man in the dugout beside Jay Johnson directing that pitching has been Nate Yeskie the last couple of years. And I got to thinking today about the last couple of years and about some of the guys that Nate Yeskie has worked with that have really blossomed and become better than they were under his tutelage over time. And there's some pretty stark examples in the first 2 seasons of Nate Yeskie's time in Baton Rouge. Remember, Gage Jump was coming off injury at UCLA when he transferred over to LSU, and Nate Yeskie helped him go from an injured former freshman at UCLA to a legitimate ace. Like, LSU won 6 of Gage Jump's last 7 starts. He struck out 61 SEC hitters and walked only 17. The A's took him in the 2nd round. He's fast-tracking towards the big leagues. Like, unquestionably, Gage Jump got a lot better at LSU. Luke Holman was an SEC starter at Alabama the year before he came to LSU. In 2023, he eventually, because of injury, became their Friday night starter. But his ERA at Bama was 3.67. At LSU, he turned that into 2.75. His walk rate dipped at LSU. He struck out 40 more hitters at LSU in only 10 2/3 more innings than he pitched at Alabama. I mean, significant strides in ERA, in walk rate, in strikeouts under Nate Yeskie. We saw the star that Griffin Herring blossomed into. He was a nice piece as a freshman to that national championship team, but he became a force in South. He was the best reliever in the SEC in that season, and that was partly due to his time with Nate Yeskie. I also would submit to you that Christian Little made huge strides that year under Nate Yeskie. I mean, Christian Little came to Vanderbilt a year early. He reclassified as this mega prospect, mega talent. And he had a nice freshman year, and then it kind of didn't work for him the following season. And he came to LSU, and in 2023, he was a non-factor on LSU's staff. Like, he was out there in the game against Florida in Game 2 trying to eat up some innings and giving up just laser shows everywhere. Like, he was not good in 2023. You would look at him and go, well, he's big and he's physical and he throws 96 miles an hour and that slider looks pretty damn good to me, but he didn't get anybody out. And he blossomed that year late into a nice bullpen piece for LSU. His last 11 appearances, he threw 17 and 2/3 innings and only allowed 8 earned runs, and 4 of them came in one outing. 8 of his last 11 outings were scoreless, and he struck out 24 and walked 8. He ended up getting hurt in Hoover, so he couldn't help LSU in Chapel Hill. But if you remember, Christian Little became a really nice bullpen piece for that team, trying to figure out anything aside from Griffin Herring. And I think that Nate Yeskie deserves a little bit of credit for that. Fast forward to 2025, last year, like Cade Anderson's SEC ERA as a freshman was 27. Not a typo, not 2.70, 27. And he became the best pitcher in the country. But if you remember last year, and maybe some of you don't, Cade Anderson did not get off to a super start last year in one aspect. He was getting victimized by the home run ball significantly. You look at his first 10 starts, he allowed 12 homers. Mississippi State hit 3 homers off him. Alabama hit 4 home runs off Cade Anderson. But in his last 8 starts, he only gave up 4 homers, and he became much better than he was early in the season. He was good early in the year. He was getting some strikeouts, and he looked good. There was promise there, but the home run ball was plaguing him, and I think he made strides there. If you remember this, Anthony Ianson wasn't very well. I shouldn't say that. He wasn't great early on. Nebraska in Frisco got 7 hits and 5 runs on him on March 1st. Missouri, who you remember is one of the worst teams in the history of the SEC, they got swept 9 times. They got 7 hits and 4 earned runs on Ianson, and he didn't finish the 4th inning on Missouri. A week later, Texas got 4 runs on him on 4 hits. He got 1 out in the 5th inning. Auburn knocked him around. LSU lost that game. Like, Ianson got hit early in SEC play. And obviously, you know now that Anderson ditched the home run issues. Ianson became a star. They were 1st and 3rd in the country in strikeouts. They were probably the most successful pitching duo in LSU history. Probably. You can make some arguments for some of those early 90s teams that had a lot of big leaguers on it. And I'll hear some other, but I can make the case that Anderson and Ianson, what they did in the second half of SEC play on, was as good, and then you get the national championship out of it, as any duo in school history. But they weren't that in February and March. And, oh, by the way, Chase Shores was worse. Chase Shores lost his job. He was completely ineffective as a starter. They put him in the bullpen. Bama hit a big home run off of him. He wasn't very good. And then he became a superhero late in the season. Was fantastic. He lost the strike zone against Little Rock in the game LSU lost. But other than that, he was awesome. And I think Nate Yeskie deserves a lot of credit for all that. So I bring all that up to say that's the only track record we have of Nate Yeskie in this program. I could go to College Station. I can go to Oregon State, and a lot of that looks really good too. But LSU's pitching infrastructure, this landscape with the transfer portal and bringing guys in for 1 year, and the sample size is kind of 2 years. But to this point in the calendar, to March 17th, a lot of these guys I'm mentioning were still finding their way. Like, Jump wasn't a starter to begin the season. His first outing was on opening day out of the bullpen. And they all blossomed into great pitchers in April and certainly into May and absolutely in June. And so, while I think it's ambitious for me to sit here and tell you that what I've seen from LSU really looks a lot like Cade Anderson. It looks a lot like Gage Jump. Looks a lot like Luke Holman. That looks a lot like Griffin Herring. Like, it doesn't. That's ambitious for me to suggest that these guys that we have seen, Kason Evans, Cooper Moore, William Schmidt, that, Devin Sheeran, like, these guys are going to end up pitching just like Gage Jump, just like Cade Anderson at the end of the season. Like, that's ambitious. I completely grant you that. What I will also counter is to suggest that this is as good as this team's going to get. They're probably not going to get any better. Like, that would be equally as dismissive and not in tune with what we've seen from Nate Yeske's pitching staff. LSU has a veteran pitching coach with College World Series wins, to his credit, on the bench. LSU's got a really, really high-tech pitching lab with a lot of information and a lot of people crunching numbers. Jamie Tutko has been through this whole thing. Remember Ty Floyd's emergence late in the season in 2023? Like, Jamie Tutko was here for that. And they have the capabilities, and these guys are talented. No one's sitting here telling me Kason Evans isn't talented. No one's here telling me that Cooper Moore is not talented, or that William Schmidt's not talented. Devin Sheeran's not talented. Grant Fontenot's not talented. Marcos Paz is not talented. Nobody's suggesting that. And you've got resources, and you've got a track record of making guys better over time. So I'm not going to bang the table here and tell you that absolutely positively Kason Evans is going to turn into Cade Anderson. But I'm also telling you to suggest that, well, Kason Evans was terrible on Friday night, and he was terrible in the second week of the season. He's just not any good. Like, that's equally as dismissive of what we've seen. So I'm hopeful that this gets better. Not guaranteeing it. It's been bad to this point, and at no point in Yeske's time has LSU had the worst ERA in the Southeastern Conference. That's worse than it has been, no question. Anderson struggling with the long ball a little bit while still working into the seventh inning and striking a lot of guys out is not like Kason Evans spraying the ball all over the place and not getting out of the fourth inning. Like, those aren't the same. But you got the same pitching coach, you have a lot of talent, and you've got a track record of making guys make incremental improvements. It's just got to start. And if it starts now, you got plenty of time. If it starts after 5 weeks of SEC play, you end up like the team 2 years ago, having to go on the road in the postseason, and that's hard because you play better teams outside your environment. So you gotta get going, but there's reason to suggest these guys are going to pitch it better. We've seen it. It's happened every year Nate Yeske's been here. It's only 2, but it's happened. I'm hopeful that we see that. I know there's a lot of pessimism in the fan base right now, and that's probably well-founded based on the expectations around here. But just a little bit of the other side here. Here's my parting thought on this. If you don't trust this staff to improve this team, then you'll never trust a staff ever to improve a team. Because the odds would suggest that Jay Johnson is not going to sit here with 2 national championships out of the last 3 years very often, if ever again. Like, just the odds. I'm not telling you he won't do it or he can't. The odds would suggest you won't win 2 out of 3 another time. You might, but let's just say the odds suggest you won't. So at this point, you've got a coach and a staff that's won 2 national championships in the last 3 years. If you don't trust them today to improve the team, you'll just never trust them to improve a team. I guess they could win 3 in a row, and you could not trust them, and that would be more egregious than this. But we're playing the odds here. This is probably the most goodwill a staff can build. So if you don't trust them today, you probably won't. We'll see. I'll be here for it. We'll be talking about it. We'll be writing about it. You'll be watching. You'll be talking about it. You'll be hopefully listening to us and reading us. Just a little baseball here to crank things up. I'll preview Grambling coming up at the top of hour number 2. Not that you need to know a lot about the Grambling Tigers, but I do have some nuggets on them and some things I want to see tonight at 6:30 from the box. If you want to listen to that game, you can on our sister station. Of course, that is Eagle 98.1. Step aside, come back. We'll talk some Saints next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com. HighlandIG.com is that website. Jonathan Carbo and his team, they're experts in the insurance game, and it's important because in my career in the insurance business, I watched businesses be saved by the proper coverages in place with insurance. Whether that's a hurricane coming through that knocks people out of work for a few weeks and your margins are thin, maybe it's something more significant than that. You got to have the right building coverage. You've got to have the right limits on your auto policy. What about a significant cyber event that can lock you out of your system or worse? Are you covered for that? Do you even know how much that could cost? The Highland Insurance Group employs a ton of technical professionals to make sure that your policy reads properly. They will always consider premium, and they will make sure that they shop with their contracted markets to make sure that you've got the right coverages and you're with the right carrier at the right price. They're going to make sure that your policy is written properly so that you don't pay up on the front for the premium and then there's a potential claim that is not covered because you cut a corner for premium. That's not going to happen at the Highland Insurance Group. So contact them at HighlandIG.com. It's the Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com.
The Cane's Box Combo, a symphony of flavors. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us this Wednesday for AFR from Marucci's Hitter's House on Segan Lane in Baton Rouge. Come take some hacks in the cages with the best bats in the world, the official bat of Major League Baseball. It's at Marucci's Hitter's House in Baton Rouge.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
So fired up to tell you all about our new Tuesday sponsor, Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Been in business here in Baton Rouge for 20 years. When I say IT, you probably, like I did until earlier this week, think, well, if my computer's frozen, I call IT, and that's what they help me with. And that's, not completely off base. There's a little bit more to it, though, with my friends over at Immense. Think of them as a proactive consultant for you with information technology. It's not just break and fix. Like, that's what you think of with IT, and they're plenty capable of helping you with issues that you have with your network. But what they do is proactively monitor and maintain your network to make sure that you can move forward. They're experts in QuickBooks and Salesforce, other CRMs as well, to keep you running as a business. And they're also able to help you grow your business with the use of technology. That's what they're here for, to help you grow your business. It's not just fixing computers. That's what I think of with IT. Been opening my eyes with the folks over at Immense. They're here 24/7. They've got customizable solutions. They're small enough for that personal touch, but they're big enough to help with that big business as well. So if you're having issues with IT, which, look, who hasn't, and you're not happy with where you currently are, you're looking for an alternative with IT, Immense Networks, Cloud IT Management. Check them out online, immense.net. It's an easy website, immense.net. Check them out online, immense.net. They bring you our Tuesday shows. All right, let's talk a little Saints here before we get to Glenn West back with LSU in 15 minutes. Kellen Moore met with the media on Friday, and he said a lot. He took a lot of questions, and so I didn't want to just slam it on Friday and Monday and leave it be. I just figured we could kind of discuss some of the other topics that he touched day by day, and so we'll hit another one today. And it was kind of a big picture thing with free agency and roster management this time of the calendar year. And Kellen Moore was asked about addressing needs in free agency as opposed to the draft, vice versa, and what his goal was entering this player acquisition period of the calendar.
I think everyone would say that certainly is everyone's goal, is to acquire as many talented players and then let the draft play itself out. And so, it's a fun process. We went through some college stuff. Now we've kind of been in this pro world now for a couple of weeks, really focused on that, and then we'll kind of enter the college phase again as we kind of continue to evaluate that part. And there'll be free agents after that, and there'll be free agents in July and August. And that's what this thing's all about. We can look at last year, just the way our roster took its course throughout the season, and the things that were acquired at various spots, and we'll just continue to keep building.
I think for Kellen Moore, this is a little bit of a new aspect for him. He's been in pro football a long time. He's fully aware of how the calendar works and when you need to acquire players and when players are available. You're talking about the high-end free agents go pretty quickly right up front. When it's time to go, it's time to go. And they kind of set the market, and then things filter through. And generally speaking, that's when the Saints have actually entered the market. When the top ones are off the board, then the Saints jump in. That wasn't the case this year. But then you've got the draft spot, and then you've got the undrafted free agents you got to deal with, and then there's another time during camp to make sure that your roster is set up properly. He's well aware of all that, right? But he's never been in the main chair. Certainly Mickey Loomis is in the main chair as well, but Kellen Moore has been kind of off to the side in the offensive role. Now he's the head coach, and so he's got to have a big input on what's being done and what the targets are, and even to an extent how the money's spent, right? I don't think he's number one on the pecking list there, but I think he's toward the top, and that's certainly never been the case in Philadelphia or out in LA or in Dallas. So I think that's important for him to continue to get seasoning and to understand how this whole thing is going to work in New Orleans, where, of course, this is the first full offseason that he's had to go through with them. The question was posed to him, and I thought it was an interesting one. How much did Tyler Shuck's late season emergence help you in going to try to acquire free agents and essentially recruiting? And this was his answer.
I certainly think having some stability there and having Tyler in the position that he's in, I think certainly gives you a lot of confidence. And I think it gives a much cleaner picture for players than when they're looking at this place and, okay, what's the opportunity going to look like? And it's an important aspect. And I think Tyler has a personality and an attention that kind of grabs people in a positive way. And I think he does a really good job of connecting with players throughout this organization. Certainly he connects with his community really well. And that naturally kind of goes throughout the league, and people talk. Everyone has teammates and former players that are on different teams, and they all have conversations, and so those connections obviously I think are always valuable for that.
That's one of the best answers I've heard Kellen Moore give in a year and change, because there are times, and we laughed about it yesterday. We laughed yesterday on the show about when Kellen doesn't want to answer a question, he just flat doesn't. That I took to heart, because if you had gone out there and tried Rattler and Shuck, and they both turned it over a bunch, and you went 2-15, and you had nothing at quarterback, you are absolutely a worse spot to try to court free agents to him. Like, money talks to a lot of folks, but without any sort of semblance of a quarterback, it's going to be difficult to get guys on board, especially on the offensive side of the football. And because Tyler Shuck went out there and played the way he did, it all of a sudden opens people's eyes. You can look, Saints won 4 in a row late. And they did it with a shoddy offensive line and all their skill guys hurt. So that does filter through the league. And it does make you a little bit more attractive. And Tyler Shuck does have an infectious personality. I was in the Superdome on Saturday, and he comes flying out of there for the Savannah Bananas, playing football in the outfield with the Bananas. Now, that's not necessarily completely indicative of how you lead a football team, but he's got some personality to him. And he's mature because he's old for a rookie and now a second-year player. I absolutely take that at face value from Kellen Moore that Tyler Shuck's emergence helped New Orleans in free agency. Now, Shuck is emerging as a potential leader. And potentially 2 of the guys who have been huge leaders may be out the door. Demario Davis already is, but the 2 guys I'm talking about are Cam Jordan and Taysom Hill, and you heard Kellen Moore address their situation currently.
Yeah, we love those guys, and that's part of what this process is you just got to go through a process with everyone, and we obviously love those guys. Love a lot of these guys that we're going through this thing, and that's what it's all about. And so we'll just take it step by step, stay in communication, and we'll see how this thing plays out.
That is basically a nothing answer, but suggests that they don't have any update on those 2. So the question then arises, if you don't have Demario Davis, and you don't have Cam Jordan, and you don't have Taysom Hill, and you haven't, for a while had some of the guys that were the backbone of this era of the Saints, like Marshawn Lattimore and potentially Alvin Kamara at this point, like, how do you rebuild leadership with a lot of those guys moving on?
Well, yeah, I think it's something that guys it's going to feel different. Just every year it's going to feel different, but certainly when there's some different voices in there, it'll feel different. But that's a great opportunity for some other guys to maybe carry their voice a little bit stronger. Every single year, no matter what the roster looks like, you're going to have to develop that. And so that's what an entire offseason program is all about, OTAs, training camp, getting prepared for a season. We want those type of guys.
Pros should be pros. And so I think to an extent, it's a smaller story than it would be, here in this market if we're covering LSU and you're trying to, lead 18, 19-year-olds. You're talking about 26, 27-year-olds in this case that should be able to hold themselves accountable. It's the job. So I think it's less a big deal, but I do think if we're talking about leadership, somebody in the middle of that defense has got to show up. You don't have Tyron anymore. You don't have DeMario anymore. You may not have Cam. Like, somebody in the middle of that defense, whether it's Pete Werner or whether it's Caden Ellis or Chase Young or Carl Granderson, like, somebody right there in the middle is going to have to step up and be a little bit more vocal than earlier. And then Shuck has got to step up and be a dude. Like, I understand if last year when you're not the starting quarterback for half the season and you're a rookie, if you're not the most vocal guy in the locker room, like, I get that. But now it's time to go. And, like, he's got to be a dude. Now, I don't have really any doubt that he will be. You're talking about a guy that's not 22 years old here, okay? So I think he'll be just fine. I think the Saints leadership is going to be very, very good. I think there's something about Kellen Moore that these players kind of like. We saw that in the player survey, that he got high scores. He's not going to be the most charismatic guy in the world. He's not Ben Johnson. He's just not going to be Ben Johnson. He's not going to be Pete Carroll. But he's also not a grump like some of these coaches in the NFL that some players don't necessarily love playing for. He's just going to be a player's coach that is smart, that is quiet, that is I think doing a pretty good job to this point. So it will sound different, to Kellen Moore's point. It is different in New Orleans at this point. There's a new era upon us, and that's an exciting thing. It's also a change, and we'll see how all that works out. So that's a little Kellen Moore and Saints talk here on this Tuesday. Saints did add a running back earlier today. We'll talk to Sharief Aishak about it in 1 hour. When we step aside, we'll come back. We'll talk to Glenn West about the LSU Fighting Tigers. One on basketball question, what's next? And then, of course, we'll talk a lot of baseball with Glenn. That's all coming up.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust. First American Bank and Trust. The beautiful thing about First American Bank and Trust is they're just so authentically Southeast Louisiana. And they're all over the place in South Louisiana. But when you are applying for a commercial loan, when you are applying for that personal loan to get behind your first home, the people that are making the decisions on those loans are here in Southeast Louisiana. They're part of your community. And I think when I say like a community bank, you may get the sense that, well, that's great. And when I call them, I'll get somebody on the other end of the line. That's awesome. I love that. Do you have the resources to really help my business as a local bank? And the question is yes. They've got 25 locations. They've got what the national banks have in terms of resources to help your business here in Southeast Louisiana. So walk in. You'll see somebody you know, whether you're in Lafourche Parish, Terrebonne Parish, the I-12 corridor with St. Tammany, Tangipahoa, even close to Baton Rouge, Dutchtown, Jones Creek, over in Metairie. They got a First American Bank and Trust. 25 locations throughout Southeast Louisiana, and a bank that you can trust with your commercial loan and your personal loan. It's First American Bank and Trust.
Parish Construction and Roofing. Trusted by champions, built for Louisiana.
Do business with someone you know. Parish Construction and Roofing.
Parish Construction and Roofing. ParishBuilt.com.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. At Locke Meredith Sean Fagan and Associates, we know each case and client are unique, and that no two cases are the same. But one thing remains constant, and that is our passion to help our clients. After an accident, we know your life has changed, which is why we passionately fight to make you and your family whole. Remember, whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. We're here to serve you.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young Remodeling, providing perfect solutions for your dream home.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Tuesday show is brought to you by Immense Networks, Cloud IT Management. Talk a little bit about the Field of 68 that cranks up tonight. One game maybe of interest to LSU fans. We'll talk about that coming up in 15 minutes. Glenn West, senior writer at Go 24/7, good enough to give us some time on Tuesdays. Does so now on the Jim's Firearms Hotline. Glenn, how are you?
I'm doing well, Hunt. Thanks for having me on. How are you?
I'm doing quite well. Appreciate your time. No movement for LSU basketball currently. No announcement from the program that they're moving forward. No announcement that they have made a change. What is your sense of how things are going to go over the next week?
Yeah, I mean, I think LSU is just kind of in limbo right now. I think they're waiting to see how certain events unfold this week and kind of decide the future of the program based on that. And so I think, look, the two decisions here are pretty cut and dry. We talked about it now for a couple weeks, but does LSU decide to bring Matt McMahon back and run it back for one more year and give him the resources to be able to build a team, a competitive team for next year, or do they just tear the whole thing down? And I think if they were to choose the latter, there's certainly a certain man at NC State right now that would be at the forefront of a lot of decision makers' minds, and we'll see just kind of how that progresses and what kind of interest that might gauge. But I think I've stayed pretty mainstay on the fact that I do think right now I'm still probably leaning towards LSU running this back. But letting this week's results unfold, I think will tell us a lot about where LSU wants the future of the program to be.
We will certainly keep tabs on it from a basketball perspective, but that's about all the intrigue that there is left with basketball now. So we'll move over to baseball. Tigers lose 2 out of 3 at Vanderbilt. They are now unranked by all of the major polls. What's your concern level?
It's up there now. I mean, I think the ways that LSU lost this series this last weekend were just really just extremely poor. I mean, they were beating themselves in a lot of these situations. I think the thing that immediately sticks out to me is the pitching and just the amount of free passes that they gave up this weekend. It's just hard to win any SEC game, much less a series on the road, when you're just giving so many free passes to the opposing team. Especially when you have a defense, especially and an infield defense that has struggled at times this year. You can't give teams free passes and free opportunities to score. And it started on Friday, it continued into Saturday, where I think they had 22 or 23 free passes between those two games alone. And on Sunday, they limited those a little bit more. I thought William Schmidt did an okay job. I thought Devin Sheeran did an okay job coming out and giving LSU some length in that Sunday game. But, the offense was the reason that they won that game because they still gave up 9 runs on the Sunday game. So the pitching right now has to go through a major reset here. It was good that you got 1 out of the 2 or 1 out of the 3 on the road, but there's a lot of work to be done. And honestly, it's a deserved drop out of the top 25 rankings for this team right now.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. You've lost 6 out of 9, and you've lost 2 weekends in a row, not playing well really in any respect of the game, although the offense did pick things up a little bit. We'll talk about that in a second, but let's go back to the pitching and start on Friday where Kason Evans had a pretty good outing against Sacramento State, and other than that, it's not been awesome at the front of the rotation, especially in comparison to some of the guys that have filled that role in the past. Where are you with LSU's ace?
Yeah, it's so weird because we saw him have such a integral, crucial role to that team last year, and you just expect, okay, he's going to be given more responsibility here as a starter, and he certainly seems to have the mindset to be able to pitch in those situations, but it just hasn't translated yet. And I think a big part of it has just been the free passes that he's dishing. I think he has a team high 12 walks this year on the team, and it's hard to consistently get tops of orders out when you're giving away free bags. And so Kason, I think, is somebody that has a lot of talent, immense potential. It's just taken a little bit longer for him to get wound up for this season, and it's a question that we should have for Jay Johnson here whenever we get a chance to talk to him next. It's just because I don't know that we've ever really asked him this, but just the translation of going from the crucial bullpen role that he was in last year to the starter role. What is it mentally that is the biggest hurdle for guys like that to overcome? And I just don't know what the answer is to that. And I think, the talent and the ability is not the problem with Kason Evans. I don't think that's it at all. I just don't know mentally if he's maybe caught up to the point where he can go out there and give you 4, 5, 6 shutout innings. I don't think he's been past the 5th or 6th inning yet to start this season. So they've got to figure some stuff out with him because I still think he's got to be a crucial piece to this team having success this year if they want to kind of climb out of this.
Vanderbilt was really charitable in the 8th inning on Friday. They threw the ball to the backstop 3 times to play 3 runs. And then on Sunday, the starter for Vanderbilt just had a meltdown for 2 innings. But LSU did score a lot of runs over the weekend, specifically on Friday and Sunday. Did you think they found anything on offense?
I think that they were able to capitalize on the mistakes that Vanderbilt gave them, which I thought was an important thing to do because, we know the genesis of LSU's offense here under Jay Johnson has been to draw pre-passes and to, crush mistakes. And LSU was able to do that when Vanderbilt gave them those opportunities. But I also think late in that Sunday game, you started to see some real signs of progress, scoring those 10 runs there in that 7th and 8th inning. When Vanderbilt was trying to make a run at it, I thought that was a really important sign that they were able to respond when Vanderbilt put that three spot up in I believe it was the 6th or the 7th inning, and then they respond with 10 runs over the next 2. I thought that was really important for the offense because a lot of that had to do with just them swinging the bats really well and hitting the right pitches and, guys just continuing to move the offense forward and handing it off to the next guy. Like, those are the things that when Jay Johnson's offenses have been crisp and running smoothly, they've been able to do very consistently. So hopefully that's an end to the weekend that they can build on offensively. Certainly the Saturday game was not anywhere close to where it needs to be, but I thought Friday and Sunday, for the most part, they did a good job of making Vanderbilt pay for their mistakes and then finding a little bit of a rhythm there at the end of the game on Sunday offensively.
Cam Johnson here on Thursday for the Oklahoma Sooners. Mercurius has been really good as a number 2 for them until this past week, and the Sooners did get 2 of 3 from Texas A&M. Got a thought on the importance of this weekend and maybe a key for LSU as they play their first home SEC weekend?
Yeah, I mean, just make the pitchers throw strikes. If they're going to get you out, make them get you out and not get yourself out, I think is the most important thing for LSU offensively. And look, I mean, for all the negatives that we've talked about here the last couple weeks, number 8, Oklahoma, number 15, Kentucky. There are 6 games here of opportunity for LSU to get themselves right back in a clean picture here if they can handle business at home. And I think, you win these 2 series, you get, I know I'm jumping ahead here, but you get right back in the picture of the national stage and you got all your goals ahead of you. But there's certainly a lot that LSU needs to work on here. And, I think this game tonight against Grambling State can be a good opportunity to work on some of those things. But there's no doubt that, Oklahoma's a very talented team. I haven't done a huge deep dive yet into their offense. I have looked a little bit at their pitching, and they do have some guys that have pitched really well here at the start of the season, and including Cam Johnson, who seems to have really kind of settled in and found his place there here this season. So it's going to be a tough opportunity, tough opponent, but the one thing about this SEC schedule is that it's a marathon and not a race, and there are a lot of opportunities here for LSU to kind of climb themselves back out of this hole.
Glenn, we appreciate the time. We'll talk next week.
All right. Thanks, Hart.
He's Glenn West, senior writer over at Go 24/7, team coverage, recruiting coverage. They got you covered over there at Go 24/7. I want to remind you about Lifetime Roofing. LifetimeRoofingLA.com is the website. Lifetime Roofing LA. They're actively hiring. So if you're looking for a job, one of the only legitimate W-2 roofing companies in the entire state, Lifetime Roofing right here in Baton Rouge. Looking for benefits? They got them. 401k plan, they've got that as well over at Lifetime Roofing. I've had an opportunity on multiple occasions to sit down and talk with a team at Lifetime Roofing, and I've just been so impressed with them. One, their facility right there off College is phenomenal, and the people they've got under that roof are great, 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 and they really care about what they're doing over there at Lifetime Roofing. So if you're looking for a team to join that's growing, that's part of this community, Lifetime Roofing is an awesome, awesome organization to jump in. They offer roof replacements, repairs, tune-ups as well. No matter what it is you're looking for, peace of mind may be it. If you just want an inspection to give yourself a peace of mind and know that your roof is in good shape, Lifetime Roofing is happy to help you out with that. They're online at lifetimeroofingla.com. That's lifetimeroofingla.com. All right, as we move on to finish off this hour here on this Tuesday, want to look at tonight's first 4. And it's not necessarily about breaking down the games. It's about what LSU is looking for tonight, and I think you're going to get your answer. We'll see. We'll talk about that to close out hour number 1 next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com. FabryChevrolet.com is the website. You're looking for a truck. I cannot advise you strongly enough to go check out my friends at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville. Been under new ownership there with the Fabry family since October 1st, but go by and see them for a truck. If you're a Chevy guy, Chevy gal, Silverado, up to $11,000 off MSRP, 1.9 APR financing. Awesome, awesome stuff. When the GMC Sierras, up to $13,000 off MSRP and 0.0 APR financing. You just can't beat those deals that they've got at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They've got your SUVs as well, Chevy Tahoes and Suburbans, got your GMC Yukons and Denali's. And you know when you deal with the Fabry family, you're going to get fantastic customer service, a great buying experience, and service after the sale. It's Fabry Chevrolet GMC. They're on Highway 61 in St. Francisville or online at fabrychevrolet.com.
At Raising Cane's, we hand batter every chicken finger, mix every cane sauce, butter every Texas toast, stir every slaw, and salt every fry. Because when you do it right, you can taste it in every bite. Raising Cane's chicken fingers, one love.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email LockeMeredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them. Let's just take care of this right here. Helping your roof to become the best version of itself. Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel? So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Go take a tour over at Marucci. Awesome tours over at Marucci. Of course, based here in Baton Rouge. Started out in a backyard shed 22 years ago and just wanted to make some bats. And now all of a sudden they're the official bat of Major League Baseball. If you want to hear the story as to how in 22 years, in 2 decades, you went from a backyard shed to the official bat of Major League Baseball, you can do that at Marucci. If you want to see how and where they make 1,200 bats a day, you can do that over at the campus tour at Marucci. Go to maruccisports.com/campus-tour. And buy a ticket. Every ticket comes with a $20 discount at the Campus Tour store and in the Hitter's House. I keep telling you this, but if you've got the youth baseball team, youth softball team, you want to get them out to have some fun together that's not at practice or at the game, go take them to take a tour. If you want to just take the kiddos, take a tour. If you just want to go take the tour, do that over at Marucci. Such a cool spot here in Baton Rouge and a wonderful story that's gone worldwide in the world of baseball. It's Marucci. Check them out online at maruccisports.com/campus-tour and book your tickets for a tour today. All right, closing out the hour here We will start with the first four tonight. It'll be UMBC taking on Howard in the 16 game. And then it'll be Texas and NC State. And Texas and NC State very much earned their trips to Dayton. NC State lost 7 of the last 9, and Texas lost 5 of its last 6. Texas got beat by Georgia. They got thumped by Florida. They did go to Texas A&M and win, but then they lost by 20 to Arkansas, lost in triple overtime to Oklahoma, went to the SEC tournament, and got beat by 10 by Ole Miss. So it's been a bumpy go for Coach Miller's squad here late, but they did play well throughout the middle of conference play. They've got a win over Alabama. They crushed Vanderbilt. They beat Georgia. They went on the road and beat Oklahoma. They went on the road and beat Missouri. So they had some quality wins, and they played a tough non-conference schedule that included a loss to UConn. It included a loss to Duke. And they played NC State. NC State and Texas played in Maui, and it was quite a shootout. It was a 102-97 game. I haven't watched a ton of NC State this year. I know that they're short, and I know they shoot it really well. Texas has some really good guards. I think Swain is one of the better players in the SEC. Tremont Mark has been in the SEC for like 920 years. He went to Arkansas, then went down to Texas. So it's a matchup that we've seen before, a matchup that featured a lot of high scoring. And candidly, whoever wins, I'm not too concerned with. But how does it affect LSU? Well, I don't know that it affects LSU at all. For all I know, LSU has already made their decision, and they're moving on with the basketball program as is. And that man will be back, and he's got a freshman signing class that's coming in, and he's about to start working the transfer portal. I saw earlier today a report that some player from some school is set to enter the transfer portal. And that set off some bells in my head. I'm sitting here going, oh, like the portal's about to start. Like, probably need to make sure that you know who your coach is going to be, because the portal's kind of important to building a basketball team. And so if, and I use that with a capital I and a capital F, if LSU is planning on making a run at Will Wade, and the only reason I'm suggesting that is because of the people in power at this school and in this state. If they're planning on doing that, Texas needs to beat NC State tonight. Because if NC State wins and they move forward and they play Thursday, and then they might win, and if they win and they play Saturday, like all of a sudden you're chipping into time, and Will Wade is making a run at NC State. Why leave? But if you lose 7 of your last 9 and you get sent to Dayton in the first 4 and you get bounced by Texas on Tuesday of tournament week, well, all of a sudden, maybe some discussions can start being had. I'm speculating on all this. But if you're an LSU fan that wants Will Wade, there are some of you out there. I know that. If you're an LSU fan that wants Will Wade, put on your burnt orange. Throw up the hook'em sign, eyes of Texas, go with the cowboy hat, put on the boots, all that. And you need Texas to beat NC State. Because the longer Will Wade is in the NCAA tournament, the less likely that is. And again, I'm not reporting anything here. This is just conjecture on my part. It makes sense that LSU could potentially target Will Wade based on the fact that LSU finished last in the SEC in year 4 under a coach, and the people that are now in position of power of LSU being the university system president and the chairman of the board of supervisors, as well as the governor. Like, those are people that are connected to Will Wade. So if you think that's a possibility, you need Texas tonight. So if you're looking for a rooting interest, we'll see. These two teams are not playing very well right now. It's a 1.5 point number, but I don't know who's favored in the game. 1.5 is the number, and NC State is favored by 1.5 in the game tonight. They'll tip it off in Dayton at 8:15 on True TV. So if you're staying up a little bit late, want a rooting interest, and you want Will Wade, probably in your best interest for Texas to get that done. So we'll see. That's the first 2 games of the NCAA tournament. It'll all crank up at 5:40 from Dayton with UMBC and Howard. That's a 1.5 point spread as well, with UMBC being a 1.5 point favorite in that game. Looking for something to do tonight? You want to watch some hoops, watch LSU baseball, eat some delicious food, have some delicious drinks, win gift cards. Court to Table Sports Trivia on Burbank. We'll be there at 8 o'clock. So as UMBC and Howard are wrapping up, and as Texas and NC State are hitting the hardwood, come by and watch it with us. Win some gift cards, have some fun. You can come by yourself. You can bring a team of 2, bring a team of 13. It doesn't matter. There's no regulations on that. Just come on out to Sports Trivia and have some fun with us at Court to Table on Burbank. Very much looking forward to that. If you missed any of hour number 1, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. I opened up today to start talking about Nate Yeske's track record as pitching coach and suggesting things could get a little bit better based on the evidence we've gotten the last 2 years. I had some sound from Kellen Moore that we played. You can find that at Hunt on Saints, and Glenn West was good enough to stop by and talk some Tigers with us at 1:30. Sharief Aishak in 35 minutes. When we come back, what about tonight? LSU and Grambling. Not the most interesting matchup, but I've got some things to look for. We'll do that after SportsCenter next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Boudreaux's Electrical Services. Boudreaux's Electrical Services. This part of the world, power outages are just inevitable. We have some pretty fierce summer thunderstorms that roll through. It can just be annoying to lose power for 2 hours. I mean, annoying to lose power for 25 minutes, if we're being honest. But then the big storms can come at the end of the summer, and that means you could be without power for a week. We get the wrong storm. Don't let that happen. Give yourself the peace of mind of knowing that you're not going to lose power in the event of a storm, even if we got a winter event like we had back in February. Boudreaux's Electrical Services has been doing this for 40 years. Neil and Melissa have been running the shop for 40 years. Go with the local, family-owned operating Boudreaux's Electrical for your Generac home standby generator. Give them a call, 985-397-1562. Again, that number is 985-397-1562. If you're looking for the Gonzales location, 225-300-9389. That's 225-300-9389. Or you can do it the easy way and go to BoudreauxElectrical.com. Generac home standby generators from Boudreaux's Electrical.
At Parrish, we're built for tough players and tough roofs.
Coach is tough on us about preparation, and Parrish brings that same championship mindset. Do business with someone you know. Parrish Construction and Roofing.
ParrishGroup.com.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems. This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. The Broncos adding a needed big play element to their offense, acquiring receiver Jalen Waddle and a fourth-round pick in next month's NFL draft from the Dolphins for a third, and fourth-round picks. Denver had finished near the bottom of the league in each of the last 2 seasons in 3-and-outs. ESPN NFL analyst Dan Orlovsky.
Absolutely love this for Denver. It was the really missing piece for their football team, specifically on offense, speed wide receiver. Bo Nix really entering a massive year, coming off of a really good year last year. So they have Cortland Sutton, who's a big-bodied receiver. And then they have some good players, Troy Franklin, Pat Bryant. And they needed a real wide receiver, true wide receiver with speed. There's Jalen Waddle.
NHL Oilers star forward Leon Draisaitl, lower body injury, expected to miss the rest of the regular season. Edmonton's currently 3rd in the Pacific Division. According to charging documents obtained by ESPN, authorities found over 2 pounds of marijuana in Alabama star Aiden Holloway's apartment when he was arrested on a felony drug charge yesterday morning. Holloway was removed from campus and is not with the team 10 days before its NCAA tournament opener against Hofstra.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy. Coming up Wednesday, my Lakers are rolling, but will they be able to make it 2 in a row against the Rockets? It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane's studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Hour 2, Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. Sharief Aishak in 30 minutes talking about the New Orleans Saints. Some college football win totals coming your way in 15 minutes. So lots to do here in Hour 2. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Let's start with LSU and Grambling tonight at 6:30. Just a couple of nuggets here of note for LSU. We know that LSU's been bad in the midweek to this point, and you gotta shake that at this point. You cannot go out there and even, in my estimation, play a competitive game against Grambling. That can't happen. LSU's not in a position to overlook anybody. You're sitting here having lost games to teams that you shouldn't lose to more often than not. It happens in the midweek, but you play Southeastern, you play Dartmouth and Northeastern. Like, you need to go out there and play well, and LSU needs to play well tonight. This is a Grambling team that has a 9.19 ERA as a team. They have allowed at least 10 runs in 11 of 18 games thus far. They have been run-ruled by a lot of teams. Like Southeastern Louisiana run-ruled them. Northwestern State run-ruled them. Northeastern was down here to play LSU and run-ruled them. ULM run-ruled them. Southern run-ruled them. It's not a good team. But if you don't play well and you walk teams and you pop up, then you can be in a dogfight. Like Southeastern got in a dogfight with Grambling. Dartmouth got in a dogfight with Grambling. Northeastern got in a dogfight with Grambling. Like, that can happen, but it shouldn't. So with that on the line, like, Grambling's fielding 952. For perspective on fielding 952, LSU can't play any worse on defense, and they're fielding 964. Grambling shortstop has made 9 errors. Like, LSU should score a bunch of runs. Like, yes, SWAC pitching at times. They'll throw somebody out there that throws 82. They'll throw somebody out there that throws a 64-mile-an-hour curveball. It's not necessarily what LSU is used to seeing, obviously. But they give up a lot of runs, and LSU needs to score a lot of runs. So you talk about pitching and what's available. It goes without saying, you're not going to throw Kason Evans, and you're not going to throw Cooper Moore or William Schmidt. I don't know about Devin Sheeran. He threw 40 pitches on Sunday. He'd had 1 day of rest. I would think he would not be available, but perhaps for the 9th inning, if you needed to win the game, you might be able to go to him. I think everybody else is good to go. So your 3 weekend starters and Sheeran are the question marks. Everybody else should be ready to go. I did not talk about Zach Cowan yesterday. That's probably a mistake and an oversight on my part. Cowan had his best outing of the year on Friday. He threw 3 1/3. He got through it on 41 pitches. He threw strikes. He got some swings and misses where LSU was struggling to do that at that point, and LSU certainly wasn't throwing it over the plate. And he actually held the rope so that LSU could get back in the game, which they did and took the lead, and then Guidry gave it up in the bottom of the ninth. But Cowan did well, and I think he should be available. And I'm not going to close the door on Zach Cowan returning to a functional bullpen piece for this team. Yes, he got off to a terrible start this year. And yes, I had questions about his ability to be a starting pitcher on this staff, even when he decided to come back last summer, because I just don't trust his breaking ball. I think he's a fastball changeup kind of guy, and the fastball's not going to scare people. He throws 92, 93. But it looked good against Vanderbilt. And LSU's looking for consistent relievers. And, oh, by the way, they're looking for relievers to throw the ball over the plate. And Cowan, generally speaking, does that. And he did it on Friday, and he got some guys out. So I would like to see him in this game. Jaden Newt is certainly available for this game. He only got 2 outs on Friday, so he's ready to go. And the guy that I think makes some sense to pitch in this game is Marcos Paz. I will be completely honest and put the cards on the table here. When Paz entered the game on on Saturday. When Paz entered the game on Saturday, he struck out the side. I didn't see it because we were leaving the Savannah Bananas game, and if I was watching LSU get blown out on my phone while navigating the Superdome crowd, my wife would have taken my phone and punted it off the Superdome balcony. So, that wasn't an option. I wasn't watching when he did that. So, I didn't see it, but the stat line's good, and that's a talented kid who got his first taste of SEC action and did very well. He's now had Sunday and Monday off, and I would not be surprised at all to see him back out on the mound in this game because you want to see if you can build off of an outing where he threw strikes and struck out the side. So I think that's a guy you would see. The arms I expect to see in this game are Cowan, Newt, and Paz. Beyond that, yes, all the guys, Ricken, the lefties with Santiago Garcia and Ethan Plog, and the normal cast. And I would expect if LSU plays 9 innings tonight, they'll probably throw 7 or 8, 9 pitchers. That's just the way Jay likes to run this thing. I don't expect to see a starter go out there and go 75 pitches. You've got a quick turnaround coming on Thursday. You had a weird travel hiccup in Nashville where you couldn't leave on Sunday, so you had to leave on Monday. So you kind of lost Monday, which would have been a day off anyway for LSU. But they have a quick turnaround on Thursday. So you've kind of had this condensed week that they're not going to overly tax anybody in this Tuesday game. And Jay Johnson wouldn't say this, and maybe he doesn't even believe this, but as I look at a game where LSU is playing Grambling State, I look at this as an opportunity to get guys innings. I just would be surprised if LSU was in a dogfight tonight. I've seen it happen. I've seen Grambling beat LSU. I've seen Southern beat LSU. I've seen these midweek games. I've been down here for 25 years. I know that it's possible. It would surprise me. So, in my opinion, I'm looking at this as I break this game down and analyze it. I'm looking for LSU to run rule Grambling. And I understand I can. This is one of those instances where I'm talking into the microphone and I can see all of y'all's imaginary faces driving around, rolling your eyes you think this team's going to run rules? What would give you any indication that this team could run rule anybody? Did you see him lose to Northeastern? Did you see him lose to ULL? Did you see him lose to McNeese last week? I saw it all. I got it. But this is a different beast. This is a team that does not catch ground balls, that does not throw strikes, that does not have talent on the mound, and that gets run ruled 2 times a week. I think LSU should run rule. And that is what I expect to see tonight. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I don't have any problem relaying that to you. This is a game where LSU needs to hit the ball on the ground and run. The way you get in trouble, because you're not going to strike out a lot tonight, the way you get in trouble is if you pop up on Grambling, because they'll catch fly balls. But a team that has a shortstop with 9 errors and that's fielding 950 is going to have trouble with hard ground balls, hard contact. And a big stat that I saw in the stat sheet today is that Grambling opponents are 60 for 66 on stolen bases through 18 games. That's a 91% success rate and more than 3 stolen bases per game. They just don't throw and catch well. So, yeah, run. Yeah, hit the ball hard on the ground. Yeah, put pressure on the defense with hit and runs and start runners. And just go play a good baseball game. This should be the most winnable game on the schedule for LSU. Yes. 4 days ago, I told you that I thought that Vanderbilt was the 7th most difficult of the 10 SEC series and that LSU would go win 2 out of 3. I'm aware. But tonight, Grambling coming in should be the most winnable game on your schedule. Just play a good one. Get some confidence. I heard this weekend through the grapevine that some of LSU's players are a little bit flummoxed by how this is going. They don't quite understand why they're not having the success that they kind of thought they would and that they did through 2 weeks. Well, this is a chance to take a win on Sunday in Nashville where your offense scored 10 runs in the last 3 innings and just keep swinging the bats well and run rule an opponent. You're not going to get any brownie points from anybody in any poll or in this fan base for run rule and Grambling. Like, that's not going to be something that moves the needle 1 centimeter. But for the players in there, maybe an opportunity to just feel a little bit better about what you're doing, playing a team that overmatched. It won't help you at all against Oklahoma. Cam Johnson's going to come out on Thursday, throwing 96 mile an hour from the left side with a plus changeup. Like, that's not applicable to Grambling in any way. Oklahoma's not going to play defense like Grambling. So it's not going to carry over in terms of the style of game you play tonight and then on Thursday. But as far as the players' psyches go, go run rule somebody. Make it happen. I'll be pulling for that to happen tonight. It's at 6:30. You can listen to it on our sister station, Eagle 98.1, 6 o'clock pregame show over there from the box. It'll be Chris Blair on the call. Then LSU back in action on Thursday against Oklahoma. We'll be breaking down tonight's game on tomorrow's show, and then we'll preview LSU and Oklahoma on Thursday. I'm looking forward to a Thursday series. I don't want LSU to do it 5 times, but I do like the Thursday series because I feel like it condenses the week. On Thursday show, you're already previewing the game. On Friday show, you got a game to react to, and it also gives you a free day on Sunday, which I'm looking forward to as well. So LSU and Grambling tonight, 6:30 from the box on what will be probably a bit of a chilly night with the wind blowing in a little bit at Alec Box Stadium. All right, when we come back, some win totals for SEC football teams coming up this fall. What's LSU's? And there's one that I think is almost free money. We'll talk about it next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Auctioner wants to remind you that all March long, it is Colon Cancer Awareness Month. Colon cancer is very, very common, but it's preventable and treatable if you catch it early. But you're probably not going to catch it early if you don't go get your screening. Screening can detect those precancerous polyps before they turn into cancer. Adults, generally speaking, should start getting those screenings at 45. But if you've got a family history, you may need screening a little bit earlier. You don't have to feel sick to get a screening. You don't have to feel like there are symptoms to get a screening. Even if you feel healthy, screening is very, very important. Colonoscopies remain the gold standard. For those at low risk, maybe an at-home test can be an option for you, but talk with your provider. That's important. They can help you determine what the best choice is for you. So when it's time to schedule that colonoscopy, make an appointment with an Auctioner Health primary care provider or a GI specialist to start that conversation. Ask about your personal risk. Early detection can save lives. Schedule an appointment at auctioner.org/schedule or through the My Auctioner app.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim which opens up significant recovery rights not normally available for a work injury. If this is you, call us or come see us at Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
Who bears the standard? Who sets the bar? It's not those satisfied by low-hanging fruit or by taking it easy. No, the standard is set by the best of us, by those who work hard. Dig deeper. Give more. At Sunshine, we're proud to provide John Deere products that work hard for you, the standard bearers. Find the dealer nearest you at sunequip.com.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Multi-platinum Grammy-winning superstar Zach Bryan is coming to Tiger Stadium Saturday, March 28th for the Death Valley Live Stadium Series, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge is hooking you up with free tickets. Register now at 104.5ESPN.com for your chance to win.
Tuesday show is brought to you by Immense Networks Cloud IT Management. We'll talk to Sharief Aishak coming up here in about 15 minutes about the Saints. They added a running back earlier today, so we'll talk to Sharief about that and what's to come in the offseason for the Black and Gold. FanDuel released its SEC win totals at the end of last week, and we've got a graphic up at 104.5 ESPN's Instagram page that's got it all laid out there for you. And I think a lot of these make a lot of sense. The top of the food chain here is Texas and Georgia at 9.5. And keep in mind, it's 9 league games now. So everybody's going to lose an extra game because they're playing each other. So you've got what was a non-conference game where everyone could win, theoretically. Now everybody's got to take a loss. Like there's got to be a loss for everybody in that 9th game. So half the league gets a loss. So your win totals are going to come down just a touch. But Georgia at 9.5, Texas at 9.5, I don't have any issue with that. Then you got Bama and Kalen DeBoer at 8.5 wins. That's where LSU sits as well. Texas A&M joins that group. So Bama, LSU, and Texas A&M at 8.5. I know that sounds low, but again, that's kind of what was 9.5 moves to 8.5 in these instances because you've got that extra league game, and the 9th league game means a lot. If we're talking about LSU and 8.5, like I understand it. You have a significant question mark at quarterback because he did not play awesome last year, was hurt last year, and can't practice to learn a new system. That's a big deal. You've got a monster non-conference game with Clemson, which I know the national media does not have a ton of respect for Clemson entering next year, and maybe Vegas does not as well, but it is a big game. This is not North Texas. It is Clemson, and they're going to come in here to play, and obviously you've got some very, very challenging home games for LSU. Bama is thought to be very good. Clemson is a big brand. Texas A&M had a great year last year. Texas has Arch Manning, is among the leaders in the win totals here in the country. That's all at home, not to mention you've got to go on the road to Oxford. Like you've got to go on the road in the Southeastern Conference. So I don't have a huge problem with the 8.5. I will tell you this. I'm a little bit surprised at Ole Miss's total being 7.5.
Pistol Pete.
That is surprising to me. And I realize that it's a very, very popular LSU fan refrain to go, ha-ha, Ole Miss, we stole your coach. He did everything. You hired this guy who's never been a head coach. Like, you're going to fall flat. Ole Miss has peaked. It's over. Y'all are going to suck. LOL. Like, that's a fun thing to do and say. And trust me, I want that to happen desperately. I want the bottom to fall out in Oxford so badly because I'm sick of recruiting against them and because LSU is going to play them the next 4 years. And if you're going to play them, they might as well suck. I'm all for it. I'm just not convinced they're going to fall off a cliff right now. Like, and trust me, I'm the guy who says don't hire the guy next to the guy. Texas A&M, don't hire Mike Early. Tennessee, don't hire Josh Elander. Like, I'm the guy who says don't just hire the assistant. I didn't like North Carolina hiring Hubert Davis. I didn't like Duke hiring John Shire. I hated Auburn handing things off to Bruce Pearl and Stephen Pearl. Like, I'm that guy. You got a big brand. You got a lot of money. Go do a search. But I'm not convinced it's going to be a disaster. And if you're telling me that Ole Miss is going to beat Louisville, which theoretically, they'll be favored in that game. I think they're going to be a preseason top 10 team by some people. You beat Louisville, all I need to get over 7.5 is to go 5-4 in the league. 5-4 in the league is not that big an ask. I think it's more likely to me that Ole Miss wins 9 games than they win 7.
I think they'll definitely be better than A&M. I don't see it. I don't see it.
What I know about Ole Miss is that they have their defensive coordinators back.
Yep.
Who's done a good job there on defense. They're not like, they're not the greatest defense I've ever seen in my life. It's not 03 LSU. Yeah. It's not a 2011 LSU. It's not a vintage Saban's defense from 2010. But, like, they've got their defensive coordinator back, and that staff is back. And then on offense, they lost Lane Kiffin. Like, that's a big deal. I think losing Lane Kiffin and Charlie Weiss Jr. is a big deal. I'm not going to dismiss that. And hiring the guy from East Carolina just because he worked under Lane Kiffin, it's not the same as having Lane Kiffin. But he does have Trinidad Chambliss and Kejuan Lacey. Like, that's a pretty good place to start, right?
Easily. I mean, we're talking about a guy that's going to be a preseason Heisman talks.
He'll be the favorite. Him and Arch are going to be the favorites to win the Heisman. And Kejuan Lacey is a stud. And they got the number 2 transfer portal class in the country. That seems like a low number to me.
Not very.
To go under that total, they're going to have to go 7-5.
Yeah, they're thinking that Ole Miss is really just going to come out here and lay an egg. I don't see that. I definitely agree with that. Over time, yes. But immediately right now, no. There's still going to be – that game against LSU week 3 is going to be on and popping regardless.
I mean, I looked at their schedule to make sure that there wasn't something completely out of the ordinary. As you mentioned, like I said, they have Louisville, and they're going to beat Charlotte. They have Charlotte and Wofford as the non-conference, so that's fine, whatever. They play LSU at home. I think they'll be favored in that game. Maybe not, but I would think that. Then they got 2 road games back-to-back with a bye week in between, and they're at places in transition. It's Florida, who has a new coach, and then it's Vanderbilt, who is not in transition with coach, but they don't have Pavia.
Yeah.
So it's a freshman quarterback. So you got Vanderbilt. So those are not daunting road games, Florida and Vanderbilt. Then Missouri comes to Oxford. They're at Texas, which is a very difficult place to win. They play Auburn and Oxford, and then Georgia and Oxford. I would say Georgia would be better than them. But then they go to Oklahoma, and they play Mississippi State, who hadn't done really anything. So I don't see this as a 7-5 team.
Nah, not at all. Now, when you break it down like that, not at all. At first, it was funny, like, oh, yeah, 75.
Trust me, I love that. I love, hey, little Ole Miss, like, go away, you're done, we stole your coach. Like, that's all well and good. I'm not going to bet on that in year one. I said this the day Lane Kiffin came here. I was like, if you ask me, like, I'm going to sell my stock in Ole Miss football. If the stock in Ole Miss football is trading at 50 wins over the last 5 years, which it is, and a spot in the semifinal where they were 12 seconds away from going to the national championship game, like, I'm selling that.
Yeah.
But 7-5, I'm not. That's not where I'm going in year one.
Not at all. And it's crazy because if we're being honest, Chambliss by himself is good for 5 wins by himself, like just how he plays.
I mean, I'll hear the argument from someone who knows more about schematics and football than me and knows more about Louisville's team than me, which is just about anybody because I don't know anything about Louisville's team now.
It has Shuck.
It has Shuck. Like that Ole Miss, like that Chambliss was just running Kiffin's system, and that Charlie Weiss helped him through the playoffs, and now they're not going to be the same. Maybe, but there's another way to handle that, and it's to turn around and hand it to Kejuan Lacey. Yeah. Guy's a monster. That's just, they're not going 7-5. If you made me bet a future, I would take that one, and I would feel okay about it. I think LSU is pretty properly placed at 8.5. Tennessee at 7.5. Auburn down at 6.5. Here's one that was a little bit jarring to me because of what they've done over the last 4 years. Missouri at 6.5. And they've been a 9-win team. Now, their schedule was favorable, no doubt about it. And I don't know what their schedule is this year. But as I was scrolling through, I was like, man, Missouri's been a 9-10 win team for like 4 years. They haven't beaten anybody at the top of the league, but they're handling the Kentuckys and the Vanderbilts and the Auburns and they're beating the Floridas, the teams that haven't been great. They're consistently better than them. So we'll see. And maybe this is Eli Drinkwitz' last year there if he can get another job. South Carolina down at 6.5 wins and Vanderbilt down at 6.5 wins.
Ooh, really?
Arkansas and Kentucky, new coaches, a lot of transition, down at 4.5 wins, and Jeff Lebby, 4.5 wins at Mississippi State. You go under that and you win 4 games at Mississippi State, I think they probably have to move on from Jeff Lebby, and that's not what they want to do. They're trying to instill some stability. They had some stability with Leach, and then obviously tragedy strikes them, and they go hire the defensive coordinator, and he doesn't work, so you got to go hire another coach, and you're like, oh, well, you got Lebby in. Like, they don't want to make another coaching change, but you got to win some games, and Lebby, they were better at the end of last year than they were at the beginning of last year. They got a big win over Arizona State, but
that game is
you got to win
crazy.
some games.
Like, looking back at it, like that game in particular, because when they won that game, everybody's like, Mississippi State's back. Like, this actually might be a year where they look kind of decent, and then the wheels immediately fell off.
It's a hard league to win. They just don't have much money at all, and it just makes it tough. And to further the point, they take some of their revenue sharing and give it to the baseball team, which is very, very, very good. And that's not something that's happened in a lot of places in the Southeastern Conference, including around here. So it's interesting. That's a look at some win totals. I think LSU is pretty properly rated. I think that 8-4, 9-3, and 10-2 are all kind of on the table at this point. There's a lot for us to learn about this LSU team through spring practice and through a little bit of fall as well. But the one that stood out to me is Ole Miss. I just don't see Trinidad Chambers and Kejuan Lacey and Pete Golding's defense being a 7-5 team, but I will laugh if that does in fact become the case. We'll see. All right, we'll talk to Sharief Aishak when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Safety is a big deal in the bathroom, especially as folks age. So if there's someone in your life that's aging that wants to stay at home and you feel like there may be some hazardous situations arising in the bathroom, do what you can to mitigate those risks. I know that you can never completely eliminate those risks. Just is what it is. But you can do something to mitigate it. You can put in non-slip floors. You can put in a walk-in tub for comfort and safety. You can put in a shower with benches on it. You can do guardrails around slippery places. All of that could make a big difference, and David and his team do it all the time. So go to OneBathAndClosets.com and look at pictures of their great work, and then have that conversation, have that consultation, have that sit down with David Duvall. If you're looking for financing options, they have them 0% up to 18 months, same as cash, if you're looking to get something done very, very soon. It's One Bath and Closets. Check them out online at OneBathAndClosets.com.
When it comes to industrial construction, River Parish Contractors can do it all. Mechanical, structural, custom fabrication, specialized welding, and turnaround services. Strategically located in between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, we have the local team with the experience and commitment to safety to manage the most complex industrial projects. Period. Here's the deal. Partnering with us means your project is delivered on time, on budget, and most important, safely. River Parish Contractors, let's get building.
The Cane's Box Combo, a symphony of flavors. Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Our Tuesday shows every week brought to you by Immense Network Cloud IT Management. If this sounds familiar, if you're a company of 50 to 100 employees or so, and you got one IT employee who's constantly overworked, running around, trying to help this person, trying to help that person, stressed out, it's just a tough gig for the one person who's handling IT for the company. Let Immense come in and help. Not replace, help. We all have been employed at a company where it felt like the IT department or person was just being run ragged. Immense is here to help. And that's what they want to do. They're here 24/7 with custom solutions to help your business perform. When you think IT, you probably think fixing a frozen computer, but it's way, way more than that. You're talking about Immense, which can help your business grow by showing you technological advances that they're aware of that maybe you aren't. So you worry about handling your business, and Immense will help you grow while managing your IT. Again, their sweet spot is 50 to 100 employees, anywhere from Lake Charles to Covington. They're happy to help you down here in South Louisiana, based right out of Baton Rouge. Check them out online at immense.net, immense.net. If you're looking for help with the IT staff, Immense can help you with that. Check them out online at immense.net. All right, let's talk some Saints. Sharief Aishak, WDSU down in New Orleans, covering the black and gold. Sharief, how we doing?
Good, man. Good. I think the agency has gone well so far for the Saints.
I would agree with that. You'll have a chance to talk to Kellen Moore back on Friday. We've played a lot of the sound here over the last 3 days, but I'm not sure if anything kind of stood out to you in speaking with the Saints head coach in the middle of this kind of roster acquisition mode of the calendar.
Thank you for asking that. Yes, I think the thing that stood out the most was the Alvin Kamara stuff. I think like he could have made life much easier and just said, yes, Alvin's under contract with us. We can't wait to see how things go with he and Travis, even if he's not on the team, just to avoid the awkwardness and trying to guess what's going to happen. Because that's what it felt like whenever he was answering the question about retirement, he's going to be on the team. It would have been a simple, hey, I know he's not Sean Payton, but Sean would have said, hey, he's on our roster. He's under contract for one more year. So we're excited about Alvin. And that would have just kind of squashed a million questions. But I think that's the biggest thing I took in terms of like the sexiest soundbite, as we would say in TV. The rest of it was they addressed their positions of need. And he spoke a lot about the guys, highly about those guys that he got up until the point when we talked to them on Friday. And I think he's right. They really went after positions of need that they desperately had to address this offseason, and it's going to put them in a good spot moving forward, getting into the NFL draft.
Well, let's go back to running back, because obviously they signed Travis Etienne, and then you have the situation with the contract, and they made it a fairly easy separation from Alvin Kamara, and then you got that answer that you referenced with Kellen Moore, and then today they signed Ty Chandler. So, like, what are you reading here?
I'm reading that it's either he is going to be the second or third running back, or he's going to retire. I'll continue to say that Alvin said that he does not want to play anywhere else. He's the only one who has said that of the veterans. I would rather be sipping pina coladas somewhere than playing somewhere else. Now, if the Saints offered a 6th-round pick and they extend him, and the team extends him, maybe he changes his mind. But it just truly feels like, Hunt, that it's either here or he's done. I think that's what's probably being discussed. Hey, Alvin, what is your situation? We've knocked you down. You're at like $1.3 million. You either play all that or retire. And I think that's a decision that they're going to have to probably mull over here in the next month or two before they, and even after the NFL draft. I think if a decision is made, I think it's right after the NFL draft or leading into it. I think they still have time in their hand. There's really no rush to make the decision since they flushed out the salary cap in terms of his contract.
And look, we went through this discussion last year when the talk was about extension, and Kamara was considering maybe holding out and then went out there to practice, and we know that the discussions were ongoing and he wanted to be in New Orleans, and they got the extension done. And then you turn around and it's like 7 months later, and all of a sudden things feel different. What happened?
I just think the productivity is down, Hunt. He hasn't really played not many players at that position play every single game. But the production has been kind of down, and naturally, whenever you hit 30, 31 years old, that's just the shelf life of a running back. Your production is going to go down, especially when they rely heavily on you when your offense had struggled for so many years. But I truly think that he would probably be fine playing that secondary third role behind Travis Etienne and even Devin Neal at this point in his career. I think he'd be fine with that. But are the Saints going to be fine with it? That's going to be the real question that the Saints have to answer, because if they keep adding running backs, like I told you, like for the previous few weeks, they're not done at that position. Even when they added Achane, I kept saying they're not done adding at that position because they continue to drop like flies throughout the year. They need depth and reliable depth, and I think that maybe some of the answers are answered today with Ty Chandler.
How do you feel about the Saints running game as we sit here today, being what they've done in free agency and kind of what this position looks like?
Yeah, I like Achane. Of course, Travis Etienne is the number one. Let's just say for this exercise that Alvin's on the roster, and having Alvin as your 2 and Neal as a 3, and then Ty Chandler as another depth piece and backup, I'm good. Even like if you have Estimate, but then like I told you, then you're going to run into a problem that you have way too many running backs on this roster, and somebody's got to go. Somebody's got to go. Whether it's Alvin or Kendre Miller, someone has to go. Evan Hull. You have just way too many running backs, but you just want to make sure you have the right running backs in terms of your depth. It's great to have 6 right now, but you got to have 4 solid ones.
How do you feel about the offensive line blocking for those guys?
Yeah, that's another position I still don't think they're done just yet. They need to add. They need to add a center. They need to add another guard. I know they got Dylan Radins on a 2-year extension, but I still think they need to add another guard and another center. I think that's another position that just hasn't held up, just like running backs. I mean, and without those guys, Tyler Shuck is going to be running for his life like he was those last few games of the season. So I think that's where you see some of that depth added in the draft. They're going to have some guys to work with in the draft, and I think that's the best spot to continue addressing there.
Sharief Aishak, WDSU, is our guest, covers the Saints down there in the Big Easy. He's here on Tuesdays. All right, the Cam Jordan situation continues to meander along. Not a lot of answers there from Kellen on Friday, but Cam Jordan's talked a little bit. What do you sense the situation is there?
Yeah, just listening to him on Gerard Armstead's podcast saying that he has 3 options in free agency. I would love to know the 3 options. Look, I understand him, and he has not hidden his feelings about it. He wants to be valued because he has said over the years that I value the Saints, I value the city and the fans. I just need to know if it's if the feelings are mutual with the Saints. He knows the fans in the city value him a lot. He just needs to know. But you look at it this way, Hunt, it's got to work out for both sides. The Saints have to be smart. They are reloading. They are resetting this team. They're going younger. They're trying to fix this cap, which they have. Does he fit on Brandon Staley's defense? I mean, does the money make sense for both sides? I think both sides have to look at it as money in terms of he's at being 36, will be 37. He said he had 2 or 3 good years, and he feels like the Saints are a couple years away from really contending for a championship. Would love to be a part of that, but does each side agree with that? Can they make it work? And I mean, how much money does he want? Yeah. I mean, he had 10.5 sacks. Can he do that at 37 years old for the price that he might be asking for? It's a tough situation, but Hunt, you can't lose all your veteran leaders in 1 year. It has to happen eventually. It'd be nice to keep one of your veteran leaders on a position that you need depth for sure. Another position we could talk about is edge. It wouldn't hurt to have him back at a good price for both sides.
Would Kamara count as one of those leaders if you kept him around, if Cam wasn't here, or are those the last two guys you're kind of referencing?
Those are the last two guys. I think you need one on each side of the ball. It'd be nice to have one on each side of the ball. I think you can get Alvin one more year and finish it out for his final year, and you can get maybe Cam on a nice 1 year, maybe a friendly 2-year deal, and let him finish out his career. I think not many players have played so many years like Cam has and did it on one team. And that's one thing they discussed on that podcast last night. I think he said it's a business, man. He said It's got to make sense, And I agree with him in any aspect for any one of us in this lifetime. When it comes to money, it has to make sense at your job. If you're really still playing at a high level, working at a high level, you want to be valued and compensated like that. And I understand that from his perspective, but I also look at it from the Saints' perspective. They're just moving. They're moving into a different direction right now, and I think you'd have to be on board in their vision.
We shall see, Sharief. We appreciate the time.
All right, Hunt. See you next.
Sharief Aishak, WDSU down in New Orleans, covering the black and gold. We are in the middle of free agency at this point and still inching toward the NFL draft, which the coverage for the draft starts so early, and you don't really realize once you get into it just how far it is away. And it's still not that close to the NFL draft, but we'll get there one way or another. I got asked for an LSU Pro Day credential earlier today, so LSU Pro Day is coming up. They'll be all over the country at Pro Days, and draft will get here eventually, but we'll not have any shortage of coverage of the NFL draft on the national networks. That is something you can be absolutely sure of. All right, we'll step aside. We'll come back and close out the show next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Fabry Chevrolet GMC, FabryChevrolet.com, FabryChevrolet.com. Fabry family has been in business here in Baton Rouge for almost 4 decades, 35 years. So you know the family. You know the quality customer service that you get when you go into one of their locations. Had 3 of them, 5 brands, and now they're thrilled to have Fabry Chevrolet GMC on Highway 61 in St. Francisville as of October the 1st. Reminder in the service department there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC, they service all makes in the service department. So no matter what you're looking for as far as service goes, they can help you out there at Fabry Chevrolet GMC. Make that short drive to St. Francisville, whether you're in St. Francisville, just north of Baton Rouge, in Baker or Scotlandville, Zachary, maybe you're over in Point Capee Parish, the Felicianas, of course. And it's a short drive from Baton Rouge as well if you're looking for an awesome deal, up to $11,000 off Silverados, up to $13,000 off GMC Sierras, and great APR financing options as well. So check them out, Highway 61 in St. Francisville. And always remind you the entire inventory is online at FabryChevrolet.com. That's FabryChevrolet.com.
If your office is experiencing performance issues like slow networks, jammed printers, or disappearing files, Advanced Office Systems may be right for you. With powerful IT solutions, print management, document imaging, and security systems, they help offices regain confidence naturally. Side effects may include uncontrollable efficiency, smoother workflows, and a sudden burst of office joy. Say goodbye to those emotional breakdowns in the supply closet and get back on track with Advanced Office Systems.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
Transform your living space with Lacoste & Young Remodeling and take your home from outdated to outstanding. Redefine your kitchen for the ultimate culinary experience or elevate your daily routine with a spa-worthy bathroom retreat. Our skilled team brings 3D modeling to life to ensure your vision becomes a reality. We believe luxury should be accessible and offer tailored solutions to fit your budget without compromising quality. So contact us today for a free estimate. Lacoste & Young.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Well, it's still a little bit of a chill in the air, but not for long. It's going to be up warm again this weekend. You know that spring is here and that grass is growing. If you're looking to get a new zero-turn mower, Gotro's Outdoor Power needs to be your stop. They've been in business 22 years, Gotro family. Awesome folks, and they've got a great business with 2 locations, Baton Rouge on Airline Highway and then in Gonzales as well. But when I say family-owned and operated, don't think small. Not small at all. Largest parts inventory in Louisiana. The largest hustler inventory in the state by far. You won't miss that. If you drive down Airline Highway, you will see that mountain of orange inventory. That's Gotro's Outdoor Power, and they can get you behind the wheel of a mower for, look, $100 a month. You probably pay more than that to have your grass cut. So get behind the wheel of a new zero-turn mower and make that happen yourself. They're the National Hustler Dealer of the Year, 2 of 3 years. National Hustler Dealer of the Year. 2 of the last 3 years. They're awesome at what they do. It's amazing people, wonderful customer service, locally owned and operated, and they've got great pricing as well, and that's coming up with Mower Madness at the end of March. Continue to get you ready for that as we move closer, coming up next week. If you're looking to get behind the wheel of a new mower, Gotro's Outdoor Power needs to be your stop. Again, 2 locations, Airline Highway in Baton Rouge and then in Gonzales. GotrosOnline.com, GotrosOnline.com. All right, we're moving towards the finish line here on a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. I want to remind everybody that we will have sports trivia tonight at Court to Table. You can come on out and see us on Burbank. We're going to be watching LSU baseball and Grambling, watching Texas and NC State in the NCAA tournament. We'll have a rooting interest there. And you can eat their great food at Court to Table. You can get their great drinks at Court to Table, and you can win gift cards. It's always a lot of fun. So I get asked all the time, can I come by myself? Absolutely. You can come with 13 people, too. There will be teams there. We always have a heck of a time. So hope to see you out at Court to Table on Burbank tonight for a fun Tuesday at 8 o'clock. I'll have you out of there by about 9:15. So it's not all hours of the night here on a school night. Just 8 o'clock to about 9:15. Always a fun time. So I hope you'll come by and see us. LSU and Grambling tonight at 6:30. I had a preview of that at the top of the show that you can check out. I want to see LSU throw the ball over the plate, catch the baseball, hit the ball hard and low on the ground, line drives, ground balls, make Grambling field the baseball. The way you get in trouble in these games, especially on a chilly night when the wind's blowing in, is start getting under balls, start popping up. Grambling will catch your pop-ups, I promise you. Hit the ball hard on the ground, run, score runs, and I would like LSU to get out of this thing tonight in 7 innings. That's the goal. This is a team that's been run-ruled by a number of teams throughout the state. ULM's run-ruled them. Northwestern State's run-ruled them. Southeastern Louisiana's run-ruled them. They've been run-ruled a lot. You need to run-rule them tonight and save some arms for Thursday and get ready to go. And if you want to use this as a building block from the game on Sunday, sure. Is it applicable to what you'll see on Thursday? I would suggest probably not. But if it's good for the vibes in the clubhouse, which have not been great, at least in the stadium the last couple of weeks, because they just haven't played very well, and you're not going to have a ton of fun when you're getting beat 6 out of 8, 6 out of 9. But that improves the vibes tonight if they can go out there and play well and have an easy win. I'm all for it. We'll see how Jay Johnson wants to handle the pitching, but I'll have a story up tonight on LouisianaSports.net, and we'll certainly be talking about it tomorrow on tomorrow's show. We'll do What If Wednesday. We'll have my latest SEC baseball power rankings. LSU will take a dip in those, I'm confident. We'll look at March Madness as well, and we'll talk to Koki Riley from The Advocate. So lots to do on a Wednesday edition coming up tomorrow. But for this Tuesday edition right now, take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
All right, so Broncos are acquiring wide receiver Jalen Waddle from the Miami Dolphins, pending a physical. We have to preface that, pending a physical.
You better.
Yeah, we don't know yet. We just know pending this physical. So Denver is sending the Dolphins a first-round pick, a third-round pick, and an additional fourth-round pick swap in the 2026 NFL Draft. So Jalen Waddle, the missing piece in Denver, take it or leave it?
I'll take it. I mean, There's possible that you could do better at quarterback, but they're not going to do that. So maybe Bo Nix is good enough. I mean, look, I wouldn't have told you 6 months ago that Sam Darnold was good enough to win the whole thing either. So here we are. But it certainly helps. He's fast. It's like the old Mike McDonald line when he was coaching coaching Mike McDonald and McDaniel.
Yeah, Mike McDonald's in
Seattle. McDaniel was in Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, they get Tyreek Hill. They get Jalen Waddle. Hey, he's fast. Just a old deal. He is fast, and he'll be able to run fast in Sean Payton's offense. That's for sure.
And in Denver, thin air, might be able to ball go really far. So we'll see. So star Michigan forward Yaxel Lindenberg was his top player available in the transfer portal last year, and he chose the Wolverines over Kentucky. Well, he told the Associated Press that Kentucky was in the mix, and this is what he had to say. They started the number between 7 to 9 million. They were pretty much going off on a route like, we'll pay him to get him here. So is paying to play not the end-all, be-all? Take it or leave it.
I will take that. It's not a popular take. People that are skeptical, and whenever LSU loses a recruit or your school loses a recruit, well, they just didn't pay him. Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't have a reason to doubt these kids. On3 hosted a bunch of the top 50 players in the country a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And they did an anonymous survey. Said, did you pick the highest bidder? And 80% said no. Now, I'm not suggesting that they were being offered $2 million and taking $200K.
Yeah.
But there are other factors: geography, relationship with coaches, system. There are other things that do matter. Not all the time. Sometimes it's just who's going to pay me the most, but not every time.
Yeah, no, and it's crazy that he's even coming out and saying this.
Yeah.
But it goes to show you that this, people said Kentucky roster was $20 million. Oh, most definitely. If he's talking about they was going to give him between $7 to $9 million by himself, yeah, no way the roster is not $20 million. So this is a good one. So Colts signed Notre Dame's power forward Carson Tott with the idea of converting him to a tight end. He's 6'8", 250. He averaged 6 points and 9 rebounds this year for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. So did the Indianapolis Colts find their new Jimmy Graham? Take it or leave it?
I'll leave it. Probably not. But it's worth a shot. You could convince me that this is a story. Trey'Dez Green's a basketball player.
Yeah.
He's been a basketball player his whole life. He played basketball at LSU, but he's not big enough to play basketball now.
Yeah.
But he's a freak on the football field. So that skill set does translate. And I will tell you this, people had the argument all the time. It doesn't happen anymore, but it did 10 years ago. Could LeBron play tight end in the NFL? Yeah, he could.
Yeah,
he would be a problem in the slot. I'm sorry. He's not physical enough. Have you seen him fly? He's 6'9", and he runs fast and can jump higher than everyone. That would be a problem on an NFL field. If Bo Jackson can do it, other people can do stuff like that. It's rare. I'm not saying a lot of people can do it. LeBron can do it.
Now, so that's it for take it or leave it.
I filled out my bracket.
Okay, who you got? Chalky?
It's not terrible. It's not stupid. It would be dumb to put a bunch of 6 seeds in the Final Four. But I've got Duke and Houston in the Final Four. That's a 1 and a 2. I've got Arkansas and Michigan in the Final Four. A 4 and a 1. I've got Duke and Michigan in the national final, and I've got Michigan winning the whole thing.
Michigan winning it all.
I have never sniffed any sort of payout in this. My crowning achievement in this was in the 2007 tournament.
Okay.
I went 16-0 the first day. That included a VCU over Duke. That's my crowning achievement.
16-0 one day?
I think it was a chalky day, but VCU did beat Duke. I remember watching it at Southgate Towers. I was a freshman at LSU. I spent the entire day at my buddy's house with a number of Keystone Lights and went 16-0. But that was 19 years ago, and I don't think I've done anything well since. So that was a high point for me. We'll see if this year gets it done.
All right, so my Final Four, I have Duke, Florida, Arkansas, and Michigan. A little chalky, but I don't know.
We're
There's
only
something about
one off.
Acuff, man. Something about Acuff.
He's a monster.
Monster.
I'll take the best player on the floor. We'll see if Will Wade gets a win tonight, or if he doesn't.
Hopefully not.
We'll see. We'll be talking about it on tomorrow's show. Appreciate y'all for hanging out with us. If you missed any of the show, catch it on demand wherever you find your sound. Search Hunt Palmer Show. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further View. Hope to see you at Trivia or at the box tonight. If not, we'll see you tomorrow.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. Swing Easy, GCBR.com. Find them on Segan at Perkins. Such a cool spot. If you're looking to work on your game but have trouble finding a driving range that has grass growing or that doesn't have a bunch of scuffed up golf balls or is not close to your house, or you're having trouble because it's windy out there, or it's cold, or it gets dark too early because you get off work, how about take all those elements out and work on your game at Swing Easy Golf Club? It's a really, really good spot, whether you're a beginner that's trying to pick the game up or you're a scratch player that's just trying to hit some shots. It's a really good environment to do so in a controlled spot where you can turn on the driving range feature. You can see the trajectory of your shots. You can see how far your carry distance is. You can see what your ball speed is. They've got a great slow-mo impact camera that shows where your club face is impacting the golf ball. I found it really, really helpful in the times that I've been over there. So if you're looking to work on your game, no matter what your skill level is, you can do it at Swing Easy Golf Club. Go by and see him, Segan at Perkins. Swing Easy, GCBR.com.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan of Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair,